I thought I was going to die the moment I opened that door. My heart didn't just stop. It collapsed. Like something inside me broke so fast. My body didn't even have time to react. I remember standing there. Not moving. Not breathing. Just staring at the one thing I never thought I'd see in my entire life. My husband. And my best friend. In our bedroom. Together. I don't know how long I stood there. Maybe seconds. Maybe minutes. Time stopped making sense. All I could hear was this ringing in my ears. Like my brain was trying to protect me from what I was seeing. Because it didn't feel real, it felt wrong. Like a mistake in reality. Like I had opened the wrong door in the wrong life. My best friend saw me first. Her face changed instantly. Not guilt. Not shock. Something worse. Panic. Like she had been caught doing something she had planned not to be caught doing. My husband froze next. He didn't speak. He didn't move. He just looked at me. Like he was trying to decide which version of me was standing there. The wife. Or the problem. I felt my legs weaken. I grabbed the wall just to stay upright. I wanted to scream. I wanted to break everything in that room. But nothing came out, no sound. No words. Nothing. Just silence. The kind of silence that doesn't feel empty. It feels heavy. Like it's pressing down on your chest. And then she said my name. Soft. Careful. Like she was trying to fix something that was already destroyed. Please. It's not what it looks like. That sentence. That exact sentence. Is what made something inside me snap completely. Because I knew what I was seeing. There was no confusion. No misunderstanding. No mistake. My husband finally moved. He got off the bed. Slow. Like he was stepping into a situation he couldn't escape from anymore. He said my name too. But I didn't hear him properly. It sounded distant. Fake. Like it wasn't even him speaking. I took one step back. Then another. I didn't even realize I was shaking until my hand hit the doorframe again. I remember thinking one thing. Only one thing. This is not my life anymore. And then I turned around. And walked away. Without a word. Without a scream. Without anything. But what I didn't know at that moment was that walking out of that room wasn't the beginning of the end. It was only the beginning of something much worse. After that night, I didn't go home. I just walked. No direction. No thoughts. Just movement. Like if I stopped walking, I would collapse. My phone was ringing. Over and over. My husband. My best friend. I saw their names lighting up the screen. Again. And again. I didn't answer. Because what do you even say after something like that? What words are supposed to fix it? Eventually I ended up sitting somewhere I don't even remember choosing. A bench. Cold air. Empty street. And silence again. But this silence was different. This one wasn't inside my head. It was real. And it felt worse. That's when I started thinking. Not about what I saw. But about how I didn't see it coming. Because that's the part that destroys you later. Not the moment itself. But everything before it. All the signs you ignored. All the moments you explained away. All the lies you told yourself just to keep your life feeling normal. I started remembering things. Small things at first. My husband being busy more often. Late nights at work that didn't feel real anymore. His phone always facing down on the table. Passwords changed. Quick answers. Short conversations. Like I was becoming someone he had to tolerate instead of someone he loved. And my best friend. Gone. My best friend. She was always there. There. Texting me constantly. Asking about my day. Checking on me. Coming over more often than before. At the time, I thought it meant she cared. Now I realize. She wasn't checking on me. She was checking around me. There was one night I remember clearly. About 2 weeks before everything happened. We were all together. Dinner at home. Laughing. Talking. Normal. At least I thought it was normal. But now I replay it in my head differently. Every glance between them. Every pause in conversation. Every moment where I wasn't being looked at. I remember catching them once. Just for a second. Looking at each other. And then quickly looking away. Back then I told myself I was imagining things. I laughed it off inside my head. I even felt guilty for thinking it. Because who suspects their husband? And their best friend? That's the thing nobody tells you. Betrayal doesn't start the day you find out. It starts long before that. When you're the only one in the room who doesn't know the truth. I sat there on that bench for hours, watching people pass by. Living normal lives. Going home to people they trust. And I kept thinking one thing. Just one thing. How long has this been happening behind my back? Because the worst part was on what I saw that night. It was the realization that it might not have been the first time. And that thought changed everything. I wish I could say that day was different. That something felt off. That I had a warning. But it was completely normal. Too normal. And that's what makes it worse. I woke up thinking about stupid things. Work. Messages I needed to reply to. What to cook later. Normal life things. The kind of thoughts that make you believe everything is fine. Even when it isn't. My husband left early that morning. Same routine. Same kiss on the cheek. Same I'll be late tonight. Don't wait up. I remember watching him leave and thinking nothing at all. Not even a doubt. That's how safe I felt, or thought I felt. My best friend texted me around noon. She asked if I wanted to grab coffee later. She even sent a smiley face. I remember smiling when I saw it. Because she always had this way of making things feel light. Like nothing bad could exist between us. We met in the afternoon. Coffee shop. Normal conversation. Work. Random gossip. Laughing. She even complimented my hair. Told me I looked tired and needed rest. I thanked her. I even told her I was lucky to have her. I meant it. Every word. If I could go back, I would stop myself right there, because she looked at me for a second longer than usual. And I didn't notice it. Not then. She left before me. Said she had something to do. She hugged me before leaving. A normal hug. Warm. Familiar. The kind you don't question. I stayed a little longer. Just scrolling my phone. Nothing important. Then I saw it. A message from my husband. Short. We need to talk tonight. No explanation. No emotion. Just that sentence. I didn't panic. Not immediately. I told myself it was work. Stress. Something normal. People always say that before serious conversations. Right, but something in my stomach shifted. Small. Quiet. Like a warning I ignored instantly. I finished my coffee and went home earlier than usual. The sky was already getting darker. That great kind of evening where everything feels heavier than it should. I remember the sound of my keys in my hand. Too loud. Too slow. Like the world was preparing me for something I wasn't ready for. When I reached the door, I stopped for a second. Not because I was scared, but because I suddenly felt tired. Deep tired. Like my body knew before my mind did. I opened the door anyway, and the house felt wrong immediately. Too quiet. Too still. No TV. No sound. Nothing. I called out. No answer. I walked upstairs. Slow. Each step heavier than the last. Like something was pulling me back. Like I shouldn't be going. But I kept going anyway. And then I reached the bedroom door. That door. The one that changed everything. My hand was shaking when I touched the handle. I remember that clearly. I remember thinking, it's nothing. It's just a conversation. It's just stress. I opened it. And the moment I saw what was inside, my entire life split in half. I couldn't process it, not at first. My brain refused to understand what my eyes were seeing. Like it was rejecting reality. My husband. My best friend. Our bed. Our room. Everything that was supposed to be safe. Destroyed in a single moment. I thought I was going to die right there. Not metaphorically. Physically. My chest locked. My breath disappeared. My body went completely numb. And then everything after that became noise. Confusion. Movement. Words I didn't understand. But I wasn't really there anymore. Because something inside me had already left that room. Before my body did. I don't remember walking out of that room properly. It's like my body did it without me. Like I was watching myself from somewhere far away. Outside my own life. Outside my own pain. The next thing I clearly remember is being in the kitchen, leaning against the counter, trying to breathe, trying to understand what just happened. But my mind wasn't working anymore. It was just noise. My husband was saying something. I could see his mouth moving. I could hear fragments of words. But nothing made sense. It all sounded far away. Like I was underwater. My best friend was crying, or acting like she was crying. I don't even know anymore. Everything felt fake. Like I had been dropped into a scene that wasn't real. Then suddenly everything got loud. Too loud. Voices overlapping. My name being repeated. Please listen. I can explain. It didn't mean anything. But those words. They don't fix anything. They only make it worse. I remember stepping back. Slowly. Until I hit the wall. And then I just slid down. Sitting on the floor. Staring at nothing. Because there was nothing left to process. It already happened. It was already over. At some point. I stood up. I don't know why. Maybe instinct. Maybe survival. Maybe just shock pushing me forward. I left. No screaming. No scene. No final words. Just leaving. Because staying there would have meant accepting it. And I couldn't. Not yet. The next days were worse than that night. Because silence is louder when you're alone. My phone kept ringing. I ignored everything. Friends. Family. Them. Everyone. I stopped sleeping properly. Every time I closed my eyes. I saw it again. That moment. That door. That image. It didn't leave me. It replayed. Over and over. And then came the messages. From him. From her. Apologies. Explanations. Excuses. All of them trying to turn betrayal into something understandable. Something accidental. Something not that serious. But nothing about it was accidental. Nothing about it was small. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. A long series of choices I was never part of. And then I found out something I wasn't ready for. Something I wish I never knew. It wasn't just that night. It had been going on longer than I thought. Much longer. While I was laughing with them. While I was trusting them. While I was calling them my closest people, they were building a different life behind my back. That realization didn't just hurt. It erased everything I thought was real. Every memory became suspicious. Every moment became questionable. Even the good ones. Especially the good ones. I don't know when I stopped crying. At some point. There were just no more tears left. Just emptiness. Quiet. And this strange feeling that my old life belonged to someone else. Not me. People always ask what I did after. How I survived it. If I forgave them. If I ever went back. No. I didn't go back. Because once you see the truth. You can't unsee it, and the worst part. It wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the fact that I trusted them completely. While they were destroying me piece by piece. I thought that was the end of the story. The betrayal. The breakup. The silence after. I was wrong. That wasn't the end. It was just what they let me see. About 2 weeks later. I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. At first, I ignored it. But it kept calling. Again. And again. So I finally answered. It wasn't him. It wasn't her. It was someone I had never heard before. A woman. Calm voice. Careful tone. And the first thing she said was, "You need to sit down for this." I remember laughing a little. Not because it was funny. But because I was exhausted. I said I already knew everything. There was nothing left to tell me. Then she said something that made me go completely silent. She said, "They didn't just betray you. They were planning to leave." At first, I didn't understand. Leave. We were already done. What else was there? Then she started explaining. Slowly. Carefully. Like she was afraid I would break. And piece by piece. Everything became worse. My husband wasn't just having an affair. He had been preparing a way out. Money was involved. Accounts. Transfers. Things I never paid attention to before. Things I trusted him with completely. And my best friend. Wasn't just the other woman. She had known longer than I thought. Much longer. Before I even had suspicions. They were already talking about a future without me in it. A new life. A clean break. A version of reality where I was just removed. Like I never existed in their plan. I couldn't breathe when she said that. Because cheating hurts. But being replaced. Being planned out of your own life. That's something else entirely. But then came the part I still can't forget. The part that changed everything again. She said, they didn't expect you to find out that early. And I asked her what she meant. My voice was shaking. Barely there. And she said, if you hadn't come home that day, they were going to tell you were the problem. Silence. That's all I remember after that. Just silence. Because suddenly it made sense. The late nights. The distance. The tension I couldn't explain. The way I started feeling like I was too much. Like I was the issue. It was accidental. It was preparation. They weren't just having an affair. They were rewriting the story. So that in the end, I would be the one apologizing for their betrayal. I never spoke to him again after that. Not really. I blocked everything. Cut every connection. Burned every bridge I could still reach. And her. I saw once. By accident. On the street. She looked at me. For a second. And smiled. Not a guilty smile. Not a sad one. Just. Empty. Like nothing had ever happened. Like I was nothing. That was the moment I understood something fully. People don't always destroy you loudly. Sometimes they do it quietly. While smiling. While pretending. While calling you best friend. And the scariest part, if I hadn't opened that door, I would still believe I was loved. But I wasn't. I was just the part of the story they planned to erase.